What's up everybody, this is Chris with Dicot Designs and we are back with another sweet custom van build. This van behind me is Sawtooth, so let's go check it out. All right, so as you may know, at Dicot Designs, we're a fully custom van building shop. So we'll do everything to the van. We do the exterior, we do the interior, we do it all. And we love building fully custom vans built around our clients' lifestyles and the very specific things that they want and need in a van. Vans are big investments, so we really feel like we should put your best foot forward and really try to get exactly what you want out of your vehicle. With all that being said, this van was specially built for our client Russ, who is based in Idaho. Russ will be using this van alone at times, but he'll also be traveling with his wife and with his dog at other times as well. This van is packed with a lot of bells and whistles, and so there's just as much to go through on the outside as there is on the inside. So with all that said, we hope you stick around and we're gonna start at the front of the van. All right, so like I said, Russ is based in Idaho and he is a real outdoorsman. He loves to be outside. So having a really rugged and off-road capable van was very important to him. So first things first, one of the big things that we did to this van is that we actually added a matte PPF wrap. So this wrap is clear, but a matte finish on it. It's self-healing with UV light. So even if you get a little scratch or something, it can self-heal as well. Coming down from there, on these three front windows in the van, we actually added a tint as well. For one, it'll help you get a little less sunburn while you're driving, and it can also keep that front cabin just a little bit cooler in the summer. As we come further down the van, we've got these AWD Designs XL Sport A-pillar lights, and these are kind of angled off to the sides a little bit. They're also called ditch lights. So as you're driving, you can see a bit off the road, so if there's any animals or something coming around from the sides of the road, you'll be able to get good visibility there. Coming down to the hood of the van, you'll notice it's a little different. That's because we have added a coat of Line-X to it. It helps protect the van a bit more from rocks flying up and potentially chipping your hood. And you'll see that we actually also added that to the sides of the van, kind of the rocker panels, if you will. Up front here, we also have the Terrawagon black front grille and emblem. And one thing you'll actually notice as we make our way down from there is that we've got this camera right here. So this is actually a front bumper camera because we are running a Wolfbox dash cam system in the van. And then we have one on the back of the van as well. And then of course the dash cam up front. Okay, underneath the hood, we have the Flatline Vanco hood strut kit. You're gonna notice actually there's a lot of Flatline Vanco stuff on this van. Great products that we like to use here. But we've got that hood strut kit to make it just a little bit easier to open up this hood, especially as you're adding DEF to the tank. One of the other cool things that we have under this hood is a motion light. So when you open up the hood, the light automatically kicks on and then will kick off when you close the hood. And you actually have a manual override so that you can turn it off and on as you want. Right here, we went ahead and upgraded the stock Sprinter fog lights with AWD Designs fog lights for better visibility. And then coming down here, we've got the Flatline Vanco front bumper. I love this bumper. It's really well made. I love the look of it too. Aggressive, but not overly aggressive either. We've got this bull bar here. We've got this Warn winch as well. We actually upgraded from what typically comes with these bumpers to go with a Factor 55 fair lead and the Factor 55 Ultra Hook. Really great products there. In terms of lighting, we've got the AWD Designs Squadron Sport lights. We went with the clear color because again, we've got the amber fogs as well. And then down underneath, we've got a front skid plate, and this skid plate just helps offer better protection when you're crawling over some obstacles. Suspension is something that we recommend to every single one of our clients. The reality is that these stock Mercedes suspensions are fine when you're adding just a little bit of weight, but when you're actually putting a van build into this vehicle, the suspension is not great. It's not really what you want. We picture ourselves at camp, but you're gonna be driving this van a lot. Not only is it gonna feel better when you drive, but it's gonna feel a lot safer, particularly when you're cornering and when there's crosswinds, etc. With this van, we went with the Evictus Prerunner 2.65-inch suspension system. It improves your control at higher speeds. It also reduces the amount of wear and tear on your interior van build too. Because of the dual piston design, you actually don't have to mess with any adjustments or any clickers or anything like that, which makes just using it a lot easier. Let's talk about the wheels. First off, we got the BF Goodrich KO3 tires. Then we've got a sweet bronze method wheel here. You'll notice right here too that we actually have the Apex Precision's quick deflation valves. And then in the back of the van, as you'll see, we also have the Apex Precision's pressure gauge and inflator. And that's just an effort to make it as easy as possible to air up and air down your tires. We've got the Agile Off-Road Big Brake Kit. Now we have the Big Brake Kit here just in the front of the van, not in the rear, because the Big Brake Kit doesn't work if you've got an electric parking brake in the back. So we just have it for the front, but we're still getting a lot of those benefits because most of your braking power comes from the front of your van. Some of the other things that we did to this van that are down low or underneath the van basically, one is that we upgraded that stock diesel fuel tank. So we now have a 45-gallon diesel fuel tank on there. And going to the back of the van, we've got something really special. We've got the Dark Star Off-Road limited slip differential. This is going to come in really handy, specifically when you're in snowy or sandy conditions. To understand how a limited slip works, let's talk quickly about how a stock differential will work. When you're driving and you're in, let's say, a sandy condition, your vehicle wants to send more power to whatever wheel has less traction. The downside of this is that can actually cause that wheel to get stuck because it's over revving and the other wheel on the other side isn't moving at all. The benefit of a limited slip is that when it senses one of those rear wheels is losing traction, it actually maintains equal power to both wheels, essentially helping the entire vehicle get out of that rut. With that limited slip upgrade, we also installed a Agile Off-Road rear differential cover, and we also installed a rear differential skid plate to help protect that differential as well. Right here, we've got the Flatline Vanco side steps, runner boards, whatever you want to call them. I really like the wider footprint it provides. It makes getting in and out of the van a lot easier. Right here, we've got this slider window in the slider door. We've got flares, but we've also Linexed the flares, and we've got windows here. Down here, we got the Flatline Vanco rocker lockers. This is kind of a dead space in the van, and so this is not a dust-proof or waterproof section, but it is a nice place to stow some extra stuff. So actually, what we've got here is the hose for the ARB air compressor that's on board. All right, so on top of the van, we got a bunch of stuff. We've got the Flatline Vanco roof rack. One of the things we really like about this roof rack is that it pairs really well with a Baja Designs light bar. That is the Onyx 6 50-inch arc LED light bar. We've also got this Nomadic A2 legless awning. Really like this awning. It's a motorized awning, so really easy to set up and take down, and has good wind resistance too. It also has 2 integrated LED lights, which makes it really nice when you're hanging out outside at night and you want to dim that light down or give yourself some nice patio lighting. Additionally, in the front of the van, we've got the Max Air fan, classic, everyone knows that fan. And then in the back of the van, we've got the Nomadic X2 air conditioning units. In terms of solar, we tried to fit as much as we could up there. So on the roof, we've actually got 450 watts of solar so that Russ can really charge up his batteries even when he's parked. All right, so coming to the back of the van, as you can tell, there is a ton of stuff going on. We got bikes up here. Now you've probably seen vans that have bikes up high stored like this and you wonder how do they get them down? Well, one cool thing is that Illumines has actually figured out a way to store the bikes up there but not make it too difficult to get bikes up and down. Russ has an e-bike that he'd like to bring with him on some of his trips. With that said, we went ahead and installed this Illumines PowerLift bike system. It comes with their rear storage panel, the PowerLift system itself, and then we also included the Illumines Expedition box. So this has storage inside of it, as well as this shovel and axe mount too. It just uses a simple tool battery, and we'll release this latch, and I'm gonna hit the down button, and I'm just slowly lowering down our entire bike rack. Like I said, lifting bikes to be stored up high can be a bit difficult. You can always, mount your bikes vertically on the back of the van, but that would also mean that you don't get a rear storage box. So this is one of those ways that you can store your bikes up high and still get a rear storage box and put your rear tire on the driver's side of the van. This is mounted with two one-up bike racks, and then it'll also come with bike locks as well. It's really nice and easy to use, and one of the nice things about it is that while the motor is running and bringing this back up, it also does have a latch on it to really keep it secure. And then you can also just remove the battery itself so that it can't be powered without the battery, which offers a little bit of extra security as well. We got the Flatline Vanco rear tire carrier and ladder. We needed mounting points because there's a lot of stuff that we mounted to this van. Down here, we've got the Rotopax locks mount, which we mounted this 2-gallon water tank to so that Russ can bring some emergency water if he needs it. And then up here, believe it or not, we've got a chainsaw mount because Russ is wanting to bring a chainsaw with him when he goes camping at times. Coming down here, we've got the Flatline Vanco rear bumper, and then with that, we've got the rear plate step, which I gotta tell you, really comes in handy whenever you need to make your bed. In this rear bumper though, we've got two Baja Designs lights, and then on top of the roof rack, we've got two more Baja Designs lights. Now we did something special with the lighting and the wiring of that lighting for Russ with this van, whereby when Russ goes into reverse, all 6, I guess you could say, of the lights will turn on. So his stock reverse lights will turn on, but then also the rear bumper lights and the rear roof rack lights will also turn on. That said, we have these on separate switches as well, so that if he wants to turn on these rear bumper lights, he can do that on one switch, and then if he wants to turn on his rear roof rack lights, he can do that on another switch. All right, so that is a lot of talk about the outside of the van, but we also put a lot of time and effort into what is on the inside. So let's go ahead inside this van and check it out. When you come to the inside of the van, it's a lot more of a collaborative approach. There were certain items that Russ wanted to include in this van. He definitely did have a design idea of how he would want this van to feel. Being in the Sawtooth Mountains, he wanted to take some inspiration from the Sawtooths. Additionally, we liked this idea of the van being centered around this notion of speed. It's quick and easy to get into camp or into your campsite, and then it's easy to set up camp, and then it's easy to break down camp. We wanted to bring in more angles and a little bit more of an aggressive design while still keeping the van warm and inviting. In terms of the warmth, we went with upholstered walls. We did Alcantara fabric. This is like a nice soft cream color. We stuck with bamboo cabinetry, and we also actually used that for the ceilings. The bamboo is this really nice material. It's really strong, super durable. Russ also wanted to have plenty of walnut in here as well. So as you can see, we've got walnut on the ceilings with some of the light fixtures, etc. Now, coming into the idea of how we introduce speed as a design element, we've included a lot of slight chamfers on edges. We've added an angle to this countertop extension. This light fixture that we'll get into more here is kind of angled back towards the van. And then the light fixtures on the ceiling are these long strips. We wanted to bring in some of that mountain inspiration into the design of this van. So right as you walk in, you can see this design of McGowan Peak in the Sawtooth Mountains. This was all made in solid walnut inlaid into these bamboo faces, and we're really happy with how that came out. All right, so sitting in the front of the van, there's actually quite a bit to talk about. First of all, we've got this overhead shelf. Another thing that we've done with this overhead shelf that we started to do that we actually really like is adding a walnut piece here with an integrated LED track that runs on a dimmer switch, because it's actually quite nice to have a little bit extra lighting up in this front cab. So we've added that in. These are the Schillmann Vario F Clima seats. They're quite a bit more comfortable than the stock Sprinter seats. This seat also has integrated seat warming, And then this is the Clima seat, so it actually has vents running through this seat, so it'll keep you from getting a little bit too hot on those warmer summer days. Over the front dash, we've got the Flatline Vanco dash mount, which makes it really easy to add a bunch of accessories. Basically, everything you're seeing here are Tackform mounts. Tackform is a really cool company. They make really great mounts with a lot of different ball diameters and sizes. So for Russ here, we've got this iPad mount, we've got 2 camera mounts, and then we've also got this phone mount. Additionally, we've got a mount for this radio, which is a Midland Mobile radio. We've got the Wolfbox dash cam. We've got the 3 cameras, so we've got the front camera just up here, and then we've got the front bumper camera and the rear camera as well. Above this, we've got the S-Pod Bantam X. Having a power management system for your exterior products is really valuable when you start to add a lot of accessories to the exterior of the van. The fuse panel for this Bantam is actually in the front hood of the vehicle. And here we've got all of our switches to manage all of the different accessories we have here. All right, so moving on to this passenger side galley. Up in the front here, we've got this fold down table so that you have a place to set down some food or maybe some drinks while you're hanging out outside. Coming down here, like I said, Russ is going to be traveling with his dog, so we had to give his pup a dinner table. And then coming over here, we actually have a removable floor insert, which gives way to a stainless steel shower pan so that we get a nice shower inside the van without taking up any space in the build. So to get the shower started, it's actually pretty simple. It only takes maybe 1 or 2 minutes. First off, just remove your shower pan insert, get that out of the way. Second, grab your magnet hooks. We've actually installed magnets on the top side of the ceiling in predetermined areas to make it really easy without having any fasteners or anything ugly or bulky up on the ceiling itself. So you just connect those magnets and then connect your shower curtain to those hooks. And then from there, drape your shower curtain down and use the magnets in the shower curtain to attach to your shower pan. From there, you're going to grab your shower sprayer, and that will just connect to your faucet. So you just need to unscrew your faucet head, screw in your sprayer, and then determine the temperature you want your shower to be here at the faucet, and then bring that into your shower, and you are good to go. Let's talk about this kitchen galley over here. First off, we've got, of course, the continuous grain going. We've got this countertop extension to give as much counter space to Russ as he can get. Here we've got the sink facing out the sliding door. We really like to install soap dispensers in these builds. So we've got those integrated here. We've got hot and cold water here. And then here we've got filtered drinking water, which is coming off of a Guzzle H2O Stealth Flex 5, I believe is the proper name for it. That is a micron filter and then a UV filter for some nice clean drinking water. The water pump and the water filter is controlled via this switch on the countertop, just making it really easy to turn your water pump on and off. With that said, let's talk about the water system and what we've got going in here. Underneath the passenger side bed, we've got a 30-gallon water tank. Additionally, we actually have a Rixen hydronic heating system installed as well. So what that system is doing is it's offering forced hot air throughout the van, radiant heated floors, and then last but not least, on-demand hot water. This hydronic heating system can be powered in 3 ways. It can be powered through shore power when you're plugged in, a furnace basically tapped into your diesel tank, and then last but not least, it can be preheated by your vehicle's engine. So it's tapped into your vehicle's coolant loop, and that coolant cycles through the Rixen's heat transfer plates, and it basically heats up your hot water, heats up all of your coolant in the Rixen system, and so that if you're driving for a few hours, then you get to camp, you've got hot water, you can get hot air running through your van immediately, and your floors are already heated. This cabinet here just opens up. This is a great place to store cleaning supplies. We've also got the sink draining to a 10-gallon water tank that is mounted underneath the passenger side, and that is also what the shower drains to as well. And then we've also managed to fit an entire drawer underneath this sink too, so you've got lots of room for storage. You can put trash cans in here. Over here we've got some unique kind of drawer sizes, you could say. Below that, we've got a step up to make it easier to get in and out of bed. This is a slightly higher bed than usual because we wanted to fit a lot of stuff in this garage. But this is on 500-pound rated drawer slides. Having those just makes it easier to get in and out of bed and tucks in and out of the way. We did a lot of design work on kind of engineering the best way to fit all of these appliances into this van. Up top, we've got a Breville CombiWave. You may have seen this in one of our other builds, but this is a 3-in-1 unit. This is a microwave, air fryer, and convection oven all in one. So we've got that behind this door. Additionally, below that, we've got a drawer that is fully dedicated to this very specific Breville induction cooktop. This is a really nice induction cooktop. We have a wrap-on dry flush toilet on, again, 500-pound rated locking drawer slides. We really like the wrap-on dry flush toilet. Once you do your business, essentially it pulls the waste through and it heat shrinks an individual bag. So basically you've got a fully sealed an enclosed bag of waste that you can then immediately throw out into normal trash. Right here, we got a big old fridge. We got an isotherm 130 liter. We've got this freezer drawer up top. And one of the nice things is that this is a drawer style, so it's a little bit easier to access, especially in this tighter space here. Above this galley, we've got the main controls for this van. So first, we've got the electrical system. We've got the EcoFlow power system. We're actually running the 15 kilowatt hour kit, which is basically 1200 amp hours of lithium power. We have built-in battery warmers. You also have the ability to charge your vehicle's battery from your EcoFlow system. We've got alternator charging. We've got shore power charging. We've got Solar One, which would be the solar up on the roof, and then auxiliary solar if Russ wants to plug in his portable solar panels as well. Down here, we've got the control for the Rixen's hydronic heating system, so you can set your temperature, set whether you want hot water or not, etc., etc. And then we've got 4 dimmer switches right here, so we've got 4 zones of lighting. Russ really wanted to have a dedicated workstation in this van. This was one of the first things that we talked about. But at the same time, we didn't want to compromise some valuable counter space. So up top, first of all, on both of these counters, we've got hardwood walnut countertops. This is all continuous grain matching. With that said, we also use a natural hard wax oil, and then we also finish it with a ceramic coating to really make it super durable to stand up to the rigors of van life. So setting up the desk is really easy. All you have to do is lift it up and boom, you've got your desk set up. So we've got it set on hinges. We also have these struts keeping it propped open. Over here, like I said, we've got this desk light. So that is an integrated LED light above the monitor. So when Russ is taking video calls or something, he can have nice lighting for those. And that light is also integrated underneath the desktop surface. All right, so I think the best way to talk about this desk is to actually start by talking about the one thing you can't see here actually, and that is up on the roof, and that is the Peplink Antenna Max S. Now, when we were talking to Russ about designing this van, again, this desk was one of the biggest things and biggest priorities for him, and working remotely in really off-grid places. That is what the Peplink allows him to do because it combines satellite connectivity with cellular connectivity. So it's kind of an all-in-one device. It has a Starlink built into it with a Peplink router. With that said, there's a few bits and bobs here. So first of all, we have this Thunderbolt cable that can run right over here, and this will allow Russ to connect his MacBook to the Apple Studio display. We also have a USB-C fast charger from ScanStrut. And then additionally, for charging other devices as well, we've got this Anker fast charger here too. One of the other features that we added as per Russ's request was to be able to control the 110 power for this desk separate from the rest of the outlets. So if Russ wants to turn on his 110 or AC power on in this van to cook, that doesn't mean that his Apple Studio display and this Anker fast charger automatically turn on. So in an effort to do that, underneath the desk in the back, we have a switch that he can toggle on and off to turn on this whole desk area or turn off this whole desk area. In addition to what's on the top, we also got a bunch of drawers here in the desk as well, just to offer as much storage as possible. So we've got 4 rather narrow drawers, but still, you know, it's really nice to have drawer storage in a van. Then on the front side of the desk, we have, again, continuous grain from the top of this walnut piece, but we've got a flip-up extension here so that the driver's seat can have a little bit of a surface to work off of. And then we also have a walnut lagoon table that mounts to a bracket next to the front driver's seat so that the passenger seat and the driver's seat can have a table to share, whether it be for cards or a meal or, you know, whatever that might be. All right, so I already talked about the design briefly of these upper cabinets, but yeah, just showing we've got soft close hinges here. We've also installed latches as well so that, you know, these cabinets don't fly open. And then we've also used these Blum Evictus struts to keep the doors propped open as well. We made these cabinets pretty big. Having ample storage was a big thing for us in this van. You'll notice these walnut strips like this one here have lighting in them, and we've actually used flush fasteners. So they're kind of like hidden fasteners, if you will, that take an Allen key. That allows us to, you know, service these lights if we ever need to. But then you'll notice back here that these are a little bit different, right? And they also don't have light coming off of them. And that's because when we were talking to Russ about designing this van, he wanted to have L-Track installed in the van so that he could install a Van Essential upper cabinet. These are removable and thereby expose the L-Track. This light fixture here is actually removable. And then that will allow you to then free up the space and then install your Van Essential track. Additionally, with this light fixture, we wanted to have a little bit of fun, so we went with these angled walnut slats that we glued together and made into this light fixture here. All right, so coming to the back of the van, first of all, what you'll notice is that we've actually got these Canyon Vans stop stays back here. We really like installing these. One, if you've got some weight on these back doors and you get some heavy winds, these can slam shut, which can be pretty scary and dangerous. So these struts stop that from happening. It also makes it easier to open the doors with more weight on them as well. But this is the back of the van. This is the garage area. And let me tell you, this is probably the most complicated part of the van build. Russ had very specific requests on the items that he wanted to fit in this van. And again, this is all based around the idea of speed and the ease of which to set up camp and break it down. Over here, we've got the office chair for that front desk. It's got wheels on it too, which makes it easier to maneuver and move in and out of the van. Up here, we've got a his and hers in terms of the camp chairs. Over here, we've got just a simple camping table, and we have this upholstered as well, so it's not sliding all over the place either. Over here, we've got portable solar panels so that he can set up solar panels. He can be set up in a camp spot for days on end and not have to worry about driving into town to plug in or anything like that. And then right here, we've got a 500-pound gear tray, so he can just load this up with a ton of extra gear and store that right in there. Coming to this side of the van, this is where the water system is. So right here, we've got our water tank fill port to fill up that 30-gallon tank. Right here, we have the quick connect for the rear shower and the control for that rear shower. Right here, we've got a switch that will drain the fresh water tank if we want to do that. And then here, we've got a quick connect to blow out the air system. So when Russ wants to winterize his system, he can just quickly connect to that using his onboard air compressor and blow out all his lines so that he can properly winterize his system Again, one of the big design challenges with this van was not only fitting all of this stuff in here, but also making sure that everything is really serviceable as well, if need be. So we have the whole water system and Rixen's hydronic heating system in here. So what we did was we have this cutout here, as well as a removable panel behind this solar panel, so that you can take that out and you have full access to the whole water system in there as well. You could also always, if need be, remove this top bed platform panel so that you could access it from the top. Coming over to this driver's side though, this is where we have the electrical system. We have the switch for the light inside this garage area. Right here, this is where we are keeping the Apex Precision's products. This is the pressure gauge, and then the other one is the tire inflator. And then right here, we've got our distribution panel for the EcoFlow power system. All right, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this tour of Sawtooth. We had a blast building this van for Russ. We love working with amazing clients to build these special custom vans. So if you're someone that is interested in having a van built for you, then don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to chat and help you out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you out on the road.